Welcome to the seated workout. I am so excited because I am joined with a friend that I actually met on Instagram because she has so much amazing content, especially with chair yoga. So if we haven't met before, my name is Alyssa. I'm a physical therapist and I specialize in helping people with osteoarthritis. And now I am joined with Cheri Schultz. Now, Cheri is a yoga instructor.
Yes, hi everybody. Cheri Schultz. I've been a yoga instructor for over 18 years, and I started specializing in chair yoga about 8 years ago because I realized as we age, it's a hard time getting up and down off the mat. I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis over 5 years ago, and I regulate my pain based on exercise and nutrition only. And I feel it's imperative that we move our body every single day for at least 30 minutes.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm so biased towards movement being a physical therapist, so I love it. Okay, for this workout, you only need a chair. It doesn't necessarily have to have arms, but as long as it's something that you feel comfortable in, we're going to get started. So I'm going to give you a movement, then Cheri's going to give you a movement, and we're going to rotate back and forth for 10 exercises. So let's get into it. So for this first movement, we're going to sit in a nice posture, so make sure we're upright. We're going to do a kick out. So you're just going to straighten that knee right out in front of you, and then we're going to add a punch to it. Same arm, same leg. And then from the side, same arm, same leg. We're going to do 10 of these. Ready? Here we go. So you're just straightening your leg out as much as you can. 1, 2, make sure we're not rounding. 3, make sure you sit up nice and tall. 4, I'm going to tell you right now, I am not great at counting. 5, 6, straighten that knee, release some of that stiffness. 7, 8, nice and slow and controlled. 9, and then last one. Cheri, what do you got for us?
Okay, I have neck stretches that's going to help our neck down to our shoulder area. And all you have to do is bring that right ear to the right shoulder. And what we have to do here is we have to hold it 5 to 8 breaths. So what happens is we're stretching that neck down to our shoulder area. You see, we hold our stress in 2 primary locations, our neck and our shoulder and our back. And we're going to work both areas today. Now slowly, let's bring our head back to center, take a resting breath, and now we're going to do the left ear to the left shoulder, and we're going to hold it on this side. And all we have to do is focus on the breath and forget the rest. Every time we exhale, the muscle releases, it stretches, but it takes that long for the muscle to stretch for muscle memory so we can gain that flexibility. Now slowly and gently, let's bring our head back to center. Take that resting breath. Let's bring that chin up towards the sky. We're going to tone and strengthen our throat. Here in yoga, we don't lift our weights. We lift our own body weight. That's how we gain strength and flexibility all at the same time as we breathe in and we breathe out. Now slowly and gently, let's bring our head back to center. Take that resting breath, shoulders back, back straight. Let's just drop our chin to our chest so we can focus on the back of our neck. So in yoga, whatever we do to the left, we do to the right. Whatever we do forward, we do backwards. And right now, we're just focusing on the back of our neck as we breathe in and we breathe out. Now slowly and gently, let's bring our head back to center. Take that resting breath. Now let's just lubricate our neck and our shoulders. So right ear to right shoulder, slowly rotate towards the back, go towards the left, and again to center. And let's keep it going. We'll just do 3 on each side. Just take your time. Do not be in a hurry. Your goal is just to feel the stretch on all 4 sides of our neck that we just took the time to stretch and flex. And when you get to center, take your time, no hurry. We'll bring our head back to that upright position and we take that resting breath. Let's do the counter pose, left ear, left shoulder. Slowly rotate towards the back, the right, and again to center, and let's keep this rotation going. Remember to keep the shoulders soft, because sometimes as we do this rotation, those shoulders come up towards our ears. Just roll them back, just to release and relax them as we breathe in and we breathe out. And when we get to center, again, take your time, no hurry. We'll bring our head back to that upright position, and we take that resting breath. All set here?
Very relaxing. Okay, now we're gonna move down to the lower body. So for this one, if you're sitting at the edge of the chair, all you're gonna do is you're gonna walk your feet out to the side and then come back in. I like to call this an out and in, because what this is doing is adding in some sideways movement. We spend so much time moving forward. We are going to do 10 reps of these, by the way, starting now. We spend so much time moving in a forward direction. We don't really get a lot of sideways or backwards movement unless we're conscious about it. Now your hip moves in 3 directions: forward, sideways, and backwards. Those muscles are incredibly important for knee health, for back health, for hip health. So it's incredibly important that we add in some sideways motion. I believe that we have 4 more. 4. So we're not necessarily sliding your legs. I want you to just pick them up so your feet are hovering off the floor. 3 more. Go just as wide as feels comfortable for you. 2. And then last one.
Okay, for this one, we're going to work on our fingers. A lot of times as we age, we get arthritis in our fingers. And the pose I'm going to show you is called spider pose. And all we have to do is bring our fingertips together, elbows out to the side. And all we're going to do is we're going to press on the fingertips, and we're just going to hold it here just for a couple breaths. Be gentle, be kind. Don't force the pose, just feel the stretch. And then we coil to release it. And again, press on the fingertips only, nice and easy, nice and gentle, let them stretch. And then we coil to release. Again, press and hold, let them stretch. This is so good, especially, right? We're texting, we're on the computer. Let's do it again, press and hold, right? If we play an instrument, if we needlepoint, if we're knitting, all of the above, right? Just to stretch the fingers, it's so important, right? Remember, motion is lotion to the joints, and we got to keep them moving, even if they're sore, right? It's about moving them. I understand because of the arthritis, because I feel it in my fingers as well. Press and hold. Let's do 1 more. Coil to release. And 1 more stretch. Let those fingers stretch for you. Always feels good. And then we coil. And we can just move them just to get that movement back. Okay.
Excellent. Okay, now we're going to go back to the legs. What we're going to do is go into a march, but I like to add the upper body into this too, so it challenges coordination a little bit, challenges your brain, also brings in some core. So what you're going to do first is just do a march. So just get comfortable in this position. Try not to lean back as you do this. But now what I want you to do is add the arm. So if the march feels okay, just go up as high as you comfortably can. Now you're going to add opposite arm, opposite leg. Now you don't necessarily have to reach all the way straight up. What you can do is just reach out in front of you, especially if you have maybe stiff or sore shoulders. Reaching out in front of you can help keep that at bay. If you can though, try to get as close to straight ahead as you can. Now this is a controlled movement. Think about those core muscles. Try not to lean back. If you need to, just focus on lifting that foot off the floor. Just get some motion through the fronts of those hips. Try to control your breathing as you do this. This is more about control than it is about speed. Try to elongate that arm as you lift that opposite knee up. Let's do 8 more. 8. Try to make that arm as long as you can. Even if you're coming out front, make that arm as long as you can. 6, 5, 4, 3. On these last two, challenge yourself to get that knee up just a little higher, reach a little longer, and then last one, reach and lift. Excellent.
Oh, that felt great. Thank you, Alyssa. Okay, for the next one is called cat-cow. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna stretch our back from the top of our shoulders all the way down to our tailbone. It's the second area where a lot of us hold our stress and anxiety. So all we have to do is bring our legs hip width apart. Knees are in a line with the ankles to help those knees. We put our hands on our knees for support. And now we're going to do the cow. We do the cow by extending the chest and lifting the chin. And when we do that, this is what happens. We put that arc in our back. You see that arc? Okay, that's what allows the back to stretch. And we just look up at the ceiling. We can softly close our eyes and we just hold it here and we breathe. And every time we exhale, those muscles up and down our spine are getting stretched. We're stretching across our chest and we're breathing. Right? That's all we focus on. We breathe in and we breathe out. We breathe in and we breathe out. Just one breath at a time. We hold it a minimum of 5 to 8 breaths, since it takes that long for the muscles to release. Breathing in and breathing out. Now let's take one more deep breath and exhale, and slowly and gently we come back to a seated pose. Take that resting breath. Now we'll do the counter pose. It's called the scared cat. We round the shoulders, we pull in the tummy, pull that belly button towards your spine, and then we drop the chin towards the chest. And as you can see, now we're stretching the back in the opposite direction, the counter pose. We're stretching across our shoulder blades, up and down our back, but we're holding our tummy tight. We can get a core pose here to help with our balance, our stability, because when we have a strong core, we get a strong back and vice versa. And we focus on the breath. Keep holding that tummy tight, but don't hold your breath. We want that muscle memory. We want that back to stretch in both directions. As we breathe in and we breathe out, let all that fiber stretch across your back, down your back, across your shoulder blades. Now let's take one more deep breath and slowly and gently be kind to your back. Come back to a seated pose. Take that resting breath. Now we're going to do 3 cows and 3 cats, 1 breath, 1 movement. Okay, let's begin. Inhale to cow, extend the chest, lift the chin. And then exhale to cat, round the shoulders, hold in the tummy and drop the chin. And again, let's inhale to cow, extend the chest, lift the chin. And then exhale to cat, we round the shoulders, hold in the tummy and drop the chin. And one more, let's inhale to cow, extend the chest, lift the chin. And then exhale to cat. We round the shoulders, hold in the tummy and drop the chin. And then we come back to a seated pose.
I love it. Okay, we're gonna actually stay with working that back, especially some of that rotation, something we don't get a lot throughout the day. A lot of times we're just in this forward position looking at a screen, but we also have to get some rotation to work the muscles that are responsible for that. So what we're going to do is you're going to step out to the side. Now, as I step out to the side, I'm going to reach with that same arm, but in an opposite direction. So it's going to look like this. You're going to step and reach. Step and reach. And I want you to think about reaching out at about a 45-degree angle. It's not a direct twist. You're taking your chest with you as you do this. It's not just a twist over to the side. Take your chest with you, turn your head, and you're reaching up just as high as you can. Again, try to elongate that arm As you do this, we're getting a nice stretch all the way down, getting some rotation through that back. Upper backs tend to get really stiff, especially if you spend a lot of time sitting. Again, about slowing control, hold for just a couple of seconds to elongate that arm. Let's do 6 more. So you're gonna step out and reach. Step out, other side, and reach. If you can even straighten that leg behind you so you get this nice line. Or if you need to, you can just take a simple march out to the side. Whatever feels good for your hip. Excellent. After this one, we're gonna do 1 more each side. Like I said, not great at counting, so sometimes we do a few extra. Let's do 1 more step and reach. Excellent.
Great. Okay. We're going to work on our arms and our shoulders a little different, but we're going to hold the poses. So let's begin by bringing our arms down by our side, bring them up towards the sky, bring those palms together, bring it down to heart center. We're going to stay right here, but now we're going to interlace the fingers and we're going to do the inside out and we're going to just stretch those arms. And remember, feel the stretch. And you might feel a slight discomfort, and that's totally normal because what you're feeling is the tightness in the muscles. That's why we hold it. And in any yoga pose, we stretch multiple muscles. We're stretching the fingers, the hands, the wrists, the arms, the shoulders. You're holding your tummy tight to protect the back. And we're breathing, again, holding it for 5 to 8 breaths. You're doing fabulous. Just stay with me. Don't hold your breath. Keep breathing. Now let's bring those arms above your head and stretch and reach for the sky. And remember to do your best, forget the rest. That's my tagline. Don't worry what it looks like, right? If you have to bend your elbows a little bit, that's okay. But you're holding the pose. That's the important part of yoga because the yoga meets you right there. Those muscles are stretching. Every time you exhale, they're releasing for you. We're stretching the sides of our body now. When our arms are above our head, it stretches our lower back and we're breathing through it. 1 breath at a time. Now take a deep breath and get some length. And we're just going to bend to one side. It doesn't matter what side you bend to, right? We hold it. We're stretching our waist, our back, our ribs, our rib cage. And again, arms, shoulders, hands, fingers, wrists, a lot of muscles. It is just not one muscle when we hold a yoga pose. That's what makes it so dynamic and can be practiced by anybody at any age. Now let's come back to center. Take a resting breath. Now take a deep breath in again. Get some length. Oh, we have to stretch the opposite side. The pose and the counter pose, and we breathe, right? Just focus on the breath, do your best. Just breathe wherever you're holding the pose. Those muscles are stretching for you. You're gaining strength and flexibility all at the same time. I'm so proud of you. Let's come back to center. Release the fingers, point them up towards the sky. Bring those palms together. Bring it down to heart center. And normal sitting pose. Now resting breath. Okay.
All right. We're going down to those feet for a second. If you're sitting on the edge of the chair, sit up nice and tall. What I want you to do, we're going to start to work those ankles a bit. I want you to raise up on your toes. So you're lifting your heels just as high as you can. We do want to go for height on this one. Hold for maybe a second or two. Then what you're going to do is then in turn, lift your toes off the ground. You may feel some action in your shins. That's what we're looking for. So now we're going to cycle through those. So now you're going to lift your heels up, get them as high as you can. And then you're going to lift those toes up, holding for about a count of 1 to 2. If one direction feels stiffer, you can hold that a bit longer. And now rotate, lift those toes. Try to get some height in those toes. This muscle in your shin is really important for walking, to keep your foot from dragging on the ground. Raise up and lift those heels. Working those calves and then raise those toes. If you feel tight in this position where you're raising those toes, that is something to work on. Or even in this position where you're trying to raise your heels. Your ankle mobility is so important for a lot of different things. For squatting, for stairs in particular, walking up hills, down hills. So you have to make sure that your ankles have the right range of motion. Now, of course, the toes aren't going to lift as high as the heels do, but they should be at least about an inch or so off the floor. Your heels are going to lift much higher. Lift those toes. Now we're just going to cycle through 3 more repetitions. So you're going to lift those heels, try to get a little bit more height this time. And then you're going to come down and lift those toes. Feel that shin muscle really start to work. 2 more. Lift those heels. And then lift those toes. And last one, raise up and lift those heels. And then lift those toes. Okay, Cheri, how do we finish it off?
All right, it's a hip flexor stretch, and I'm going to stay right here. Boy, can I feel those in my shins. Our hips are the tightest muscle of our entire body because as we age, we sit more. So they tighten up, and sometimes the piriformis, it pulls on our lower back. But this is a pose that can be done every single day sitting in any chair, okay? So we're going to start with the right leg. There's 3 levels. You do whatever level your body is talking to you today, okay? So here's right over left. Now you can stay right there. If you can cross your legs, that's level 2. But if you can bring the ankle to the knee, right, that's level 3. Now, wherever you're at, we put our hands in a comfortable position. We don't want any tension. And we bend at the waist. And when you can no longer bend any further, you just bow your head in and you just surrender. And so what we're doing is we're stretching our hip flexor and our lower back at the same time. And like I said, our hips are their tightest muscle, especially if you sit more than you move, right? I mean, we know how important it is to keep the body moving every day for 30 minutes. But if your hips are tight and you're feeling that tension in your lower back, just do this pose sitting in any chair and we just breathe. Remember, we hold it 5 to 8 breaths. Just breathe in and breathe out. That's all we focus on. 1 breath at a time, 1 pose at a time. Breathing in and breathing out. Now let's take 1 more deep breath. So now we're going to drop that right foot to meet the left. And then we always bring our head up last. Take that resting breath, but we have to do the other side, right? Have to balance both sides. Okay, left over right, that's level 1. You can stay right there. If you can cross your legs, that's level 2. If you can bring that ankle to the knee, that's level 3. Wherever you're at, put your hands in a comfortable position, bend at the waist. When you hit that resistance point, you just bow in right here and surrender. Again, stretching out the left hip and the lower back. And just focus on the breath. Don't hold your breath. I know you're going to feel that discomfort, right? Especially in our hips because they're tight. But the premise of yoga is to hold the pose and breathe through the discomfort. We never force or push a pose. We just hold it until we feel that slight discomfort so we know the muscle is stretching for us. And again, we hold it a minimum of 5 to 8 breaths as we breathe in and we breathe out. Let's take 1 more deep breath. Now drop that left foot to meet the right, and we always bring our head up last. Great job, everybody.
Excellent. Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed this workout. Now, if you want to run through it again, run through it 1 to 2 more times to really get to know the movements, really master those movements. Pick 1 or 2 that maybe were the most challenging for you and start incorporating every single day, especially that last one. If sitting cross-legged is difficult for you, it can be hard to put on socks, put on shoes if your hips feel really stiff. So I do have another video on how to sit cross-legged. But if you want to find out more information about Cheri and chair yoga and follow her, I'm going to put her information down below in the show notes. So go click on that description. And I just want to say thank you so much. And I hope that you watching right now, you feel so much better. You feel relaxed, limber, and ready to take on your adventures. Cheri, any parting words?
Yes. Hey, thank you so much. And remember, with yoga, that's something you can do every single day. You can do the stretches, right? Multiple times a day, just like Alyssa said. Do this video a couple times a day, right? Get your day off to a great start. And then you won't feel that tightness, that stiffness. I want to thank Alyssa so much. Thank you for having me here. And we hope we have enhanced your overall well-being and health today.